Good afternoon, everyone, from EnergyAustralia Stadium in Newcastle, where the Knights are at home today to the North Queensland Cowboys. Looking at the sides, both teams are as programmed. In the Newcastle Knights side, though, they welcome back their grand final hero and kangaroo tourist Ben Kennedy. He'll start on the interchange bench. The Knights are coached by Michael Hagan. Visiting team today, the North Queensland Cowboys. A couple of positional changes from last week. Matthew Peterson drops back to fullback. Matt Bowen moves in to be 5'8", and John Doyle finds himself starting the game from the interchange. The coach of the Cowboys is Murray Hurst. North Queensland kicking off. Newcastle are running with the aid of the northeasterly breeze. So Newcastle with the breeze at their backs and caught in the first tackle. Just put to ground 10 metres out from their own line. Billy Peden to play the ball. Now taking it across field is Daniel Abraham. Outside his own 20 goes the youngster. And again, they're going to work it just down that short side. Just a settler for the first set of 6. It's always a good way to start. If you can get through your first set of 6 tackles, make no mistakes. You just seem to get into the flow and the rhythm of the game that much easier.
Well, that's been an extremely good set of 6. They've made it out to the 42-metre area, put down the kick from Johns, caught them on the try line. Now the Cowboys, let's just see what they've got. They've got to work it out.
I know it's an old cliche, Russell, but your kick's only as good as your chase, and they came down in numbers with Matthew Gidley leading the way. So North Queensland now on their second tackle and playing it still inside their own 20. And here's Taron Bradford
across the shoulder,
playing his third first-grade game today. And on the wing, called into the side, of course, after the reshuffle with Tim Brash's unfortunate knee injury last week. John Buttigieg.
5 last, clear.
Big lump of a bloke is Buttigieg. A great workload on his shoulders today. Now Matthew Bowen playing at 5'8", getting his kick down to Robbie O'Davis. Just making sure that he picks it up, doesn't knock on. He's tackled just outside his own 30. This is one of the worrying things that I can see for North Queensland. They did have trouble last week with the big Brisbane forwards and big backs like Lottie Takiri. And there's going to be a hell of a lot of work for those little halves, Matthew Bowen and Nathan Feen, trying to stop the juggernaut of Newcastle, particularly a big bloke like this fella, Matt Parsons. Plays at 5 from halfway. Johns takes it to the line.
4 tackles, get off.
Michael Luck, the defender for the Cowboys. Danny Badiris. Wild pass, the first mistake of the game. Pass going over the touchline. Gee, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't the sides love to have a half hooker combination of Badiris and Johns? Not a bad one, is it?
Outside foot up and hold it on the ground. Don't strike with it.
Super combination, there's no doubt about that. And either one of them could swap positions without even blinking.
Exactly, Russell.
Ball in front of it, yep. Play.
Nathan Feen works the scrum for the Cowboys, now in the hands of Matt Bowen, and Peterson comes in from fullback. Immediately wrapped up by Matt Gidd.
Very interesting defensive pattern for the Knights from the scrum. Having a look at the way that they lined up, Robbie O'Davis actually lined up at the half position, and the big man himself, Andrew Johns, was out at 5'8".
Buttigieg's lost this ball. It's been picked up by Steve Simpson. The zero tackle is almost at halfway. Right on the advantage line.
Tackle 1 clear.
Matt Parsons on the first is put to ground. Daniel Abraham.
2 clear.
35 metres out. Johns again runs it. Shows it back on the inside for Josh Perry. On the third. Sean Rudder. Oh, tackle from Peter Jones. Penalty goes the way of Newcastle. Peter Jones with that high shot. It just slipped over the top of Sean Rudder, and this gives Andrew Johns almost a gift 2 points. He kicked a goal at the end. Here it is again as we see Rudder and Jones just slipping up over the top. And takes no time about it. Andrew Johns gets the 2 points. That gives him 9 in a row. Back to last year's grand final. He kicked 1 at the end of that. He kicked 7 out of 7 last week and 1 today. So 9 out of 9 for Andrew Johns. Got a long way though to go to reach his record, which is 23 in a row.
Hasn't missed a kick, 100% record. Gee, every kicker in the NRL could do that, they'd be happy.
They certainly would. 2 points to nil in favour of the Newcastle Knights.
First point, second season.
Matt Parsons on the kick return and just runs it straight at Maxine.
You're at EnergyAustralia Stadium.
This is Steve Simpson out to his own 30.
Newcastle Jogging Club.
Hand off the ball, let it go, no.
Penalty against the North Queensland defenders, just keeping their hand on the football. It's a very easy way for the Knights to get territory. In fact, this kick will take them 15 inside North Queensland's half. Johns, Matt Parsons. Parsons to the North Queensland 30 on the first. Now Josh Perry just straightens up the attack. Opposition number 8, John Buttigieg there to stop him. Here goes Johns again, now Billy Peden coming back at an angle, running into traffic. Johns, he's at everything, isn't he, Andrew Johns? Now the simplest of little passes to Robbie O'Davis. Oh, they opened up like Sydney Eds.
Have a look at that.
Mark Oaten just wants to have a look at it.
No. They'll have a look at it, thanks.
Just wants to check. Of course, we've seen and had a little bit of controversy over a try that was disallowed last week. I think there wasn't too much problem in this one. The Cowboys halfback Nathan Fiend really did race up out of the line. You can see the ball gets laid in behind. Now, whether there is any adjudication of a player being taken out, I don't think you can say that.
Gee, I just think they went for the wrong man. Well,
it was a decision from them to actually run in and take that. I don't think that you saw another Newcastle player in between the fellow that caught the ball and the man that ran the dummy angle.
Russell, just looks to me that they've picked the wrong bloke and gone for the wrong fella.
You talk about great decoy runs. That was a super decoy run. He ran between the two defensive players, made them converge on him, and then the hole for Robbie O'Davis. Well, you saw Robbie. He just skipped through and over the line to dot it down almost under the post, well, directly behind the post. And if this is a TRY, well, it's a 6-pointer. There's no doubt about it.
Video referee this afternoon is Ian Parnaby. Here's his decision. Try it is. Tell you what, if that had been disallowed, there would have been controversy galore. You wouldn't have had many tries scored all year.
Yeah, I can understand it though. The referee's just wanting to make sure and check, because it really has been, I think, a scourge on the game over the last couple of years. Players that actually run in and they aim for the outside shoulder of the defender.
No waiting, no delay for Andrew Johns. And 8-0 it is. Newcastle lead North Queensland here at EnergyAustralia Stadium in Newcastle. The warning bells are already ringing for the North Queensland Cowboys. Glenn Morrison takes the restart for the Northerners. The try scorer Robbie O'Davis picks it up and again sends it straight back to Matt Parsons, who crashes into the North Queensland defence. Steve Simpson have just had all the ball so far, Newcastle. All of the ball. Billy Peden.
Right back, there's only been one bad pass, that one over the try line off, I think it was Billy Peden or Badiris, but other than that, they've had full control of the football, and then when they haven't had the ball, they've confined the Cowboys to their own 30-metre zone.
And again, a great kick, Andrew Johns. Look, he's just got all the time. He never seems flustered. He knew exactly where to put that ball to make Peterson run, and then they're able to trap them down inside their own 20.
Of course, he had the benefit kicking on the second tackle. There's not too many defenders ever expect a ball to be kicked that early in the tackle count. Does it pretty well. Of course, we were talking about it. He won the toss, decided to run with the breeze, and he's got to make best use of it.
Great defence. Now Glenn Morrison. And again, they rush in on him. His opposite lock forward, Billy Peden, leads the way. Final tackle coming up. Matt Bowen, this time under pressure, gets his kick away. Straight to O'Davis, just out from his own 40. Quick hands, given across field, shuffled very quickly onto Kamala Tahu. Then cutting back inside to Robbie O'Davis. O'Davis looking for a runner, and Sean Rudder coming up the middle. Rudder takes it 18 metres out from the line. Now away to Badiris. Called for by Andrew Johns. He's up to the 10. Now held on the second by Peterson. They go to the short side. Sean Rudder fires a pass. Knocked down by North Queensland. No, picked up by Matt Bowen. Referee says play on. The little fella is being chased by Robbie O'Davis. He's going to keep running though, Matt Bowen. He'll come around and score underneath the post. Matt Bowen scores the try. Very lackadaisical the way he put it down. Now we'll have a look. Just now to check whether Matt Bowen actually played at that ball, and if that's the case, it would be a knock-on.
Well, I think he did actually play at the ball. I've got to say, put the big question mark there, I suppose. Is he putting his arm out to try and deter the ball carrier from throwing it? Is he putting it out there to try and knock the football down? He doesn't seem to have too much celebration going on, and he's made blatant contact with that. The ball's gone forward half a metre, so I think we're doing a U-turn, going back about 90 metres.
I'm with you, Wally. There it is there, off his right hand, just gets the fingers to it, but pushes it just enough to be out of the grasp or out of the reach of, I think it was Robbie O'Davis. Look where the Knights are. The Knights have stayed where it happened, and the Cowboys are up inside the Newcastle's half, so they've both got varying attitudes about who's right and who's wrong.
To the delight of the Newcastle supporters, no try. Ian Parnaby, the video ref, rules that it was played at and knocked down by Matt Bowen. The referee, Mark Oaten, did the right thing, just let play go on, and then can call it back if need be. So North Queensland, from being close to scoring a runaway try, now find themselves under pressure because the Knights will feed a scrum just 10 out from North Queensland's line.
6 tackles inside the 10-metre zone.
Rudder, O'Davis, Gidley, tried to push away from C. Tamana Tahu, loose pass out in front of Peden and dived on by North Queensland. So that was sloppy. John Buttigieg gets the ball for the Cowboys. That was perhaps just taking it a little too easily by Newcastle, and a lack of concentration when they were in a very, very good try-scoring position. Here's Peter Jones playing it. Now Morrison. 8-0 it is in favour of the Newcastle Knights.
Five, here, Bill.
Now given back to Nathan Veen. Veen getting his kick down and will go into touch. Finds touch just 25 metres out from the Newcastle line.
And a pretty good kick there from Fiend as well. They've got to make sure that they try and make this game as stop-start as possible. It'll give their defenders every chance to line up to make sure that their defensive pattern and their communication is first class. Also help their breathing as well. They do have a little bit of a problem early in the match already, Russell, though. Every time they're cutting the ball away, they're only making around about 15 metres in 5 tackles before they kick.
Steve Simpson standing out of that scrum to be first receiver. And still running Simpson, good run by him, but this is a tactic. They know that the North Queensland halves are small and you run one of your big men. And here comes another one in Parsons. Just run them at the little fellas near the edge of the ruck and can create havoc. Here's Gidley. Gidley running, gets inside to Peden. Oh, he was almost tackled on suspicion there. He was dragged to ground by Gatiss. I thought Gatiss might have had him before he had the ball in hand. Play on, Johns giving it back on the inside. Now it comes to Danny Badiris. Badiris still running. Oh, he went straight through. David Thompson should have got him. Thompson just put out the weakest of hands to try and get him. And straight through goes Danny Badiris. A very easy try, 12-0.
Yeah, and they've brought the ball back around about 60 metres inside 4 tackles. But there was some pretty ordinary defence at that ruck as well. The ball was shifted to the right-hand side. The Cowboys' left field defence, Matty Singh, simply thrust out an arm to try and stop it. The next ruck, the ball was taken across the field. A good transfer back inside from Andrew Johns. A sidestep, the big fella got beaten, David Thompson, and that really was a very ordinary jersey grab. If they're going to compete out here this afternoon with the Knights, they're going to have to make sure that they've got plenty of discipline.
There's the kick by Andrew Johns, it's there. 14 points to 0 in favour of Newcastle. The big man running at a little man.
The next tackle after that, Matty Parsons took it up and he had him in the opposition's half on the second tackle after the scrum, and from there, well, geez, anytime you're in the opposition's half and you've got Matthew Johnson on the side, beware.
Kick-off being taken by Glenn Morrison, so not a good day for North Queensland so far as Big Matt Parsons brings it back. Just while we have a moment, let me send a very special cheerio call as Danny Badiris getting through to Peter Parr, who's the football manager for the Cowboys. He and the media manager Tim Nugent involved in a very unfortunate incident here last night. As the ball comes back to Tamana, Tahu will come back to that. Tahu kicks ahead, a chase between he and Peterson, and goes over the dead ball line. Now the players from Newcastle are claiming obstruction, and the referee brings it back for a penalty. He must have thought about giving a penalty try, you would think.
No. But you can shoulder for it. But your man here is grab. He can shoulder for the ball, but you can't pull him back off it, okay? No, it's right. Cop the penalty here.
So the penalty for pulling the player back. Yes, you can shoulder charge when you're in a one-on-one race, but you can't pull a player back. And the referee must have thought about a penalty try there. However, Badiris takes the tap. Now away it goes to Johns. Now to Parsons, just coming straight. Ball played, given across field to Rudder. Then it goes to Billy Peden. Only a metre or so out from the line, Peden. And loses the ball. Lost by Billy Peden. Yes, just going back to last night, Peter Parr, the football manager from North Queensland, and their media manager Tim Nugent were just walking back to their hotel here in Newcastle when they were set upon by the police believe a gang of about 20 hoodlums. And Tim Nugent is here today, but is pretty much worse for wear. But poor old Peter Parr has suffered very nasty injuries indeed, and is at the moment in the John Hunter District Hospital here in Newcastle, and will be for some days in a very sick and sorry state. And Peter, from everybody in rugby league, particularly all your friends in North Queensland, and more particularly all of your players here in the side, they do send you their very, very best wishes and hope that you are well enough to be watching this telecast this afternoon. A most unfortunate incident indeed, Russell, and let's hope that the police are able to find the gang that has been guilty of a very, very cowardly crime. North Queensland in possession as it comes back to Matt Bowen. Bowen's kick taken well by Robbie O'Davis, positioned himself perfectly. Ooh, slipped under with the tackle of Nathan Feen. 12 inside his own half is where O'Davis plays the ball. Anthony Quinn comes in to get a bit of work. Penalty North Queensland.
No, he must get up first before he attempts it. He must get up first before he throws it back.
For North Queensland in 16, Jamie McDonald.
And lifting the ball up with him. Let's have a look and see if that's what happened.
That is the first interchange.
Didn't get up properly, so the penalty goes to North Queensland, and this is Jamie McDonald just on the field from the interchange bench. The first time they've really had the opportunity to attack the Cowboys. They need to come away with some points here as it goes to Bowen, then on to Peterson. Matt Peterson trying to get his way through and crack the very tight Newcastle defence. And the ball lost. Yeah, story of the day. McGuinness coming in to try and take that pass, couldn't control it. Goes to ground early in the tackle count, and Newcastle work this scrum on their own 20.
There's nothing flash about what's happening out there. The Newcastle Knights are just showing what an old head they've got on their shoulders. They're not doing anything sensationally, but they're doing everything very, very well. Whereas the Cowboys, they just can't take a trick.
Sean Rudder.
Clear one. Hand off, come on one. Get your hands out of there, don't go for a second shot.
Peden thought he saw a little break through the middle of the ruck.
2, hand out.
Dragged to ground on the second and plays it. Now out of dummy half goes Mark
3,
Hughes.
clear again, get square markers.
Parsons crosses back into North Queensland's half. On tackle number 4 is where Parsons will play the ball. Badiris goes back to the left-hand side to Rudder. Dummies. Goes himself, Sean Rudder.
Wait here. Quicker out there, play the ball.
On the last,
Jamie.
Andrew Johns comes to the right. Now puts up one of those spiralling kicks, putting it out. Bouncing up for Taron Bradford. Got a hand to it. And it goes touch and goal.
Wait, man, wait, George, I'll tell you
Come
when.
back out, in fact, to the 20. Well, the referee saying that I thought he might have got a hand to that, but he didn't. That's the reason why North Queensland restart.
Hand off the ball, square markers.
McDonald. Tackle on him made by Vidiris and Gidley.
Wait.
Here's Buttigieg. Solid defence on Buttigieg. With Josh Perry leading the way. Everywhere Buttigieg goes, Josh Perry somewhere close to him. Now to Matt Bowen. Bowen's wide pass out to Hannay. McGuinness coming back infield to pick up Matt Bowen. Trying to dance his way through. The captain, Peter Jones. Just gets isolated though as he runs out towards the sideline, and the final tackle coming up for the Cowboys. Hurled back for Matt Bowen. The kick is going to be charged down. This could be a Newcastle try. Picked up out there by Abraham. Given away to Billy Peden, and Peden will go in and score. He's one of the heroes of Newcastle. They love Billy Peden here, and so they should. But the work for that try done by Daniel Abraham, it hadn't been a good set of six for North Queensland. They simply weren't going forward. The pressure was on Matt Bowen. Abraham charged his kick down, and Billy Peden finishes it off.
Yeah, very good work. You see a lot of players simply content to wait for the kick to go in. He raced forward, got the hands into the air. It was a good chase down. A couple of the North Queensland players were probably in a spot where they may have got back there, but Russell, when you get in a spot like that, you cannot afford, if you struggle to make territory, you've got to make it with your kick.
Well, that kick was charged out from Bowen. There was no, I've got to say, where are the North Queensland Cowboys forwards? You've got to set a platform. That's what they needed, a couple of quick hit-ups, bang, bang. Instead, they go wide 3 times with the football, and then they expect him to kick it, Bowen to kick it, and he just can't because he's under pressure.
Yeah, I believe that they're having a little bit of trouble with their pattern that they're playing at the moment. They're simply going from one side to the other. It's presenting no troubles whatsoever to the Knights' defence. They're picking them off comfortably. I think they've got to try and get some sort of roll on. If they start at one side of the field and keep a roll on the other side, work 4 rucks around, at least they'll give themselves some sort of platform to work off. The communication's going to be there as well.
Well, the most difficult kick for Andrew Johns from near touch and looking right into the setting sun. Here it is on its way and over. Oh, what a good kick that was. What a great kick by Andrew Johns. Joey has a big smile on his face, and so he should.
I don't think he would have seen that one going over. The sun was in his face that much.
Absolutely. He wouldn't have seen where that finished, Joey. But it was there. Great kick. So 4 out of 4 today. That makes it, 11 out of 11 for the season. As we said, we had 1 from last year, so it actually means that he's now kicked 12 in a row. What a good player he is. Is there anything that he cannot do? But he's just one of those players, you pay anything just to watch him play, he's that good.
Yes, well, there's one thing he hasn't done. He hasn't captained New South Wales at this particular stage, but that may be just around the corner.
20 points to 0 it is in favour of Newcastle. Here is that man. Johns gets around Gatiss, makes another 5 metres, then is put to ground on number 4. Sean Rudder. Abraham.
5.
Now the last, and again John sets himself just close to the ruck. And up goes the kick for Peterson, and takes it. He had the staggers, but he got there. The old heart would have been fluttering then for Matthew Peterson.
You weren't square. You weren't square. You were standing to the side. Go back here.
Penalty against the Newcastle markers, not marking up square on.
And I'd say to you, Ben Kennedy's not far about making his first appearance in 2002. He's on the sideline now.
That's frightening for North Queensland, is it?
Won't
You're 20
they be
points to
happy?
0, you have a look at the scoreboard, and then you say, oh, they bring on a fresh reserve. Who's he? Oh, thanks very much for coming. Here's McDonald.
Be interesting to see just
There he is,
what
Ben
sort of
Kennedy.
role John Doyle plays as well. He's just taken the field a few moments ago. He must get himself involved right from the start.
Josh Hannay looking to get on the outside of the defence, but pushed to ground. The ball goes loose. Abraham is there to pick it up. Just playing out wide today, Daniel Abraham, and loving it at the moment. Quinn. Anthony Quinn plays it. Johns throws a long pass on the bounce. Tamana Tahu just scoops it in, then got away from Bradford, pushed away from Singh the first time. Singh, though, to his credit, came back quickly, but a good fast play the ball. Now they've got North Queensland on the back move again. Out wide to Mark Hughes. He's up to the 30, Hughes. Here is Ben Kennedy. To a great cheer, Ben Kennedy. The grand final hero for Newcastle. 18 metres out from the line, in the hands of Johns, rolls the ball ahead and Peterson's able to pick it up. Oh, and then it's collared by Josh Perry.
Hey! Hey? Yeah, that's right, but you can aim down lower than that. You can't take it around that head there. Just take it down, right?
I'll tell you the point that I can't get over there is what he's offered. He said he was going down. Well, the only reason he was going down is because he wore one straight round his melon. Turn it up.
We'll have a sore right ear from that encounter.
Oh, yeah, he was going down.
North Queensland's penalty. Here's McDonald, now Fiend.
2!
Morrison. Peter Jones almost got into open spaces, Jones. Tackle, though, was made on him by Kennedy. Doyle just steps off the left foot. A bit of trouble to get him to ground. Eventually, Perry and Badiris make the tackle. Fiend. Inside for Matt Singh, trying to put him into a gap. It was closed, though, by Simpson. Here's the last. Peter Jones. Jones with the left foot kick. High across field out towards Quinn. It's bounced off his shoulder, then come loose. It came off. Well, first of all, it went in to the stomach of Mark Hughes, then came back to North Queensland, so the tackle count restarts. Jones dives forward to pick this one up. Now back to Sean Valentine. 10 out from the line. Morrison running it towards the short side. Tackle is made on him, though, by Kennedy going in low. Up the blind side they go, North Queensland. Only 1 metre from the line, Hannay to play it. Given away by Bowen to Fiend. Nathan Fiend tries to step past Johns. Tackle, though, by Daniel Abram. Now wide to Peterson. To Singh. The moment he got it, he was caught and put to ground in a smothering tackle. Now played on the last. Back to Doyle. Doyle looked to get a kick away. Couldn't. Newcastle, good defence by the Knights.
Get off, get off!
Newcastle with the ball and play back just 10 metres out from their own line. Tahu playing at this time. Here's Robbie O'Davis. Down the blind side goes O'Davis.
Easy.
Given by Gidley. In centre field, Sean Rudder.
Clear and square.
Josh Perry.
5, clear again. Stand up.
On the last. 10 on their own side of halfway is where Andrew Johns will kick. Driving this towards the sideline. And Peterson lets it go into touch. It finds it 10 metres out from the North Queensland line.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Stay in there, Bill.
Penalty against Bill Peden for breaking from the scrum too early. The lock forward from Newcastle. The reason for the differential penalty to North Queensland. Jamie McDonald. Just on halfway is where he'll play it. Now Michael Luck. On the bounce to Nathan Fiend. Now it goes away to Bowen. He hurls a long pass out wide to Hannay. Had to just wait for a split second for that ball to come to him, Josh Hannay, which just did stop his momentum. Morrison on the blind side to Peterson. Got inside the tackle of Kennedy. Now picked up by Matt Bowen. Round the corner pass to Jones.
Get off.
Peter Jones, 30 metres out.
Wait.
Nathan Fiend. Inside for Matt Singh. Singh trying to just scramble through the tackle of Daniel Abraham. The last on its way. Fiend runs it on the last a few metres, then puts in the little grubber kick, but Anthony Quinn drops back for it.
10 metres.
There's not a great deal of vision in that kick. Quinn was back there waiting for it. I just think it was, handing over possession cold.
And have a look at that. I mean, the dummy half runner, Robbie O'Davis, great player, Robbie, but he's certainly not the most powerful of runners. He made around 16 or 17 metres from dummy half.
Here goes Ben Kennedy, another one of those charging runs. What he did against Parramatta in that grand final, and draws a penalty.
Too long. There's too long next. No, I'll look at that, Peter. Thanks.
Penalty going against North Queensland, in particular Sean Valentine, wearing 17 in the headgear for just holding on too long after the tackle on Ben Kennedy. Again, a terrific attacking position for the Knights, and once more, here's Kennedy. Just charges it again up towards that blind side and makes an easy 15 metres.
Too clear!
Ball to be played inside the 20 by Newcastle. Away goes Danny Badiris, trying to sneak his way through Badiris. 5 metres out. Played to Johns, then given away to Josh Perry, who heads it back towards the posts. Did well to give it back to Johns. His pass goes out wide to pick up Daniel Abraham, and he'll go in and score. He did all the work for Billy Peden a few minutes ago to set up Peden's try. Now he gets one of his own, Daniel Abraham. 24-0 Newcastle lead North Queensland.
Well, it's just a blatant example of too big, too fast, too strong. Everything they're coming up with. Newcastle, the Cowboys are finding it impossible to stop. They had a couple of defenders went in and looked like they were almost going to charge this down, but a very clever offload came up from Josh Perry, shifting the ball wide. And you can just see every time they're getting the football tonight, they just make territory.
The pressure on Nathan Foon here. Here he comes back inside. Nathan Foon doesn't come across and close up the gap quick enough. And poor old Matty Singh, well, he just can't hold back a runaway Abrahams, and no stopping him from that distance.
Yeah, I think the best piece of advice you could give them at the moment for the Cowboys is just send somebody out there. If you've got the big guys running up the middle of the ruck, get your smaller guys in there to dummy half, maybe even 1 and 2 dummy halves, and get them tackling side on. The low tackles are the only ones that are going to stop these guys.
I'll just say that was set up by some great runs leading up to that try, and what stood out for me was the fact that the North Queensland Cowboys markers aren't working. So much yardage from just hitting up next to the ruck area or scooting from dummy half. The markers for the Cowboys have got to work.
Andrew Johns kick. He's missed one. Well, the first miss of the season for Andrew Johns. He can make mistakes. Not many, let me tell you, not many at all. Just the occasional one here and there. 24-0 Newcastle over North Queensland with 9.5 minutes until half-time.
I guess the big question, can they get to 30?
We see 10% of
Flexibility the bookmakers will be offering you, Russell.
In this half.
Yes. Matt Parsons, another charging run. Clinton O'Brien, his first touch. Does well, O'Brien, the stand in traffic and give it back to Johns. He likewise gets away from Luck. Now gets to McDonald. Badiris elects to have a run or send them running down the blind side to Clint Newton.
Hands off, stand up, Matt.
His first foray into the game. Again to Matt Parsons. Matt Singh, I'd say that's about the 4th or 5th tackle he's had to make on big Matt Parsons. Must be getting sick of the sight of him. Here's Sean Rudder.
Here's Sean. Stay square.
Now Johns. Once more kicks into open space. Across field forward goes Matt Peterson, but he's just surrounded by red and blue jerseys. The moment he got it, Billy Peden came in with Ben Kennedy to make the tackle on him. Here's McGuinness.
2, clear.
Taron Bradford just lost his footing a little as he took that ball.
Get away again, wait. Stay square.
Sean Valentine.
Well, they've got to start offering some options. The North Queensland Cowboys at the moment, it's simple. Just picking off the 1 runners at a time. Newcastle having absolutely no problems at all.
Wait here.
Unless they come up with it, it will end up around 60 or 70 points this game.
Look at it, they are just so stereotyped and 1 out at the moment, North Queensland. playing right into Newcastle's hands. Here's Robbie O'Davis.
Tackle one.
O'Davis is 10 inside his own half is where he'll play it on the first. 24-0 in favour of Newcastle.
2. Clear it again. Get a foot on it. 3.
Quinn to play it. Badiris scampers out of dummy half. Then sends his pass. Back in field it comes to Quinn.
4, clear him.
Johns on the blind side. Clint Newton drops it. Just had a little look at the defence, Clint Newton, as that ball was coming to him. So one of the rare mistakes made by Newcastle. And North Queensland in possession, but on their own 30. That's where a tough tackle is put on Glenn Morrison. Leading the way was Johns. Michael Luck, another solid tackle. This one was made by Clint Newton, realising that he'd made the mistake to turn over possession. So he thought, well, the best way to make up for that is to go in with a couple of hard hits. Jones.
4 tackles.
Doyle from dummy half to Bowen. Goes back a few metres before he kicks. One bounce though to Robbie O'Davis. One of the big differences. I know Andrew Johns is the best in the business in where to kick, but almost every time North Queensland have kicked, Robbie O'Davis has either been able to take it on the full or the first bounce, which means it's in close proximity to where he is.
John, I'm a huge fan of Matty Bowens, but I've got to say the last 3 kicks that he has made have been absolutely disgraceful. That one, O'Davis didn't need to move. The ball came straight to him. He ran it straight back up. All of a sudden, we've got the Cowboys 10 metres worse off than they were just 15, 20 seconds ago.
Oh, lovely pass, which is given away out wide to Quinn, and he'll scramble for the line he's held on to. Only a couple of metres out. It was great work by Mark Hughes. Now flung across field, and Billy Peden picks it up, stacks on the mill. Matt Bowen comes down with it, so it's a North Queensland ball. Just 5 out from their own line. Here's Peterson.
Number 4, corner Queensland, number 8 was John Buttigieg.
John Doyle electing to run himself, has the ball ripped out.
Billy came in as well, just before he pulled it.
John, I've got to say, he was a little bit unlucky on that occasion, Joey. When he went in, you could see what he had in his mind. He was definitely going for the one-on-one, and I think he had it in motion before the second man made contact.
Just keep a check on Andrew Johns. Russell Fairfax will do it. He's just, to me, looks as if he's holding his right arm at the moment. He's gone in back play. Yes, as he's down.
He's actually had a little bit of a problem since he made that big hit you called around about 2 or 3 minutes ago. He came over and stood on the wing for the entire set of 6 tackles leading up.
Well, we will keep a look on Andrew Johns. He's playing wounded at the moment. He's still out there and still in the line as North Queensland turn it over. Might try and get through to half-time. 4.5 minutes away, Johns. Then get the medicos to look at this problem he has. This is Tamana Tahu. Almost up to halfway is where he plays the ball to Badiris. Now O'Brien. Clinton O'Brien turning in the tackle, but no one in support. Rudder. Now to Johns. Didn't look to have any problems then, but Ben Kennedy's got one as he runs into a tough tackle from Hannay. It's picked up by McGuinness with a little bit of room to run, Ken McGuinness.
Back, come on.
Fiend. On the inside to Peterson.
2.
Matt Peterson tackled by Badiris. Now to Morrison. Glenn Morrison takes the tackle. Now to Michael Luck, but again it's just all one out running, and that's very easy for Newcastle's defence to put them over. Fiend. Buttigieg. Crashes up into the defence, and the last is coming up.
Thanks.
Nathan Fiend. Now away to Bowen. Bowen puts up a little kick. Up they go for it. Tap back. It's gone loose and picked up by Robbie O'Davis. He's lost it. Matt Bowen also can't get to it.
Last. Just there, Ken.
On the last of the changeover. 10 metres out from their own line, Newcastle.
No advantage.
Just there's Robbie O'Davis. Andrew Johns seems to be okay. If he did have a problem, maybe he's worked that problem out, but he's still on the field and seemingly showing any ill effects.
2, clear again, stand up, Sean, square markers.
On the second, Newcastle to play it. O'Brien, Johns, whips this pass away. Lovely pass on to Clint Newton.
3 players, stand.
Sean Rudder, call by Johns on the blind side, so he's anxious to get into play. Andrew Johns looks to be okay again. Rudder then quickly away from Gidley, but Duras flicks it back inside, away from Ben Kennedy, but into the clutches now of Ken McGuinness, away to Hannay, and Hannay is shut down in a good tackle by Quinn. You read that well, Anthony Quinn. They did have the numbers out wide if the ball was able to be shuffled by North Queensland. Quinn, the youngster, did well in defence. Here's Buttigieg.
3, play with your foot.
Thrown to ground by Clinton O'Brien. Morrison, Singh, inside to Taron Bradford. Bradford has open spaces in front of him. Tamana Tahu won't be able to get him, and just before half-time, North Queensland go in to score a try. Very much against the run of play. Taron Bradford scores the try, so the Cowboys are on the board at 24-4.
They did it with a pretty good play that came to the left-hand side. There was a little bit of disharmony in the crowd over the last pass, and it was very flat, I think you've got to say. Ethan Feen brought it across, tipped it on. Morrison was the man that threw the ball before it, the one that the crowd weren't all that happy, but a very good play from Matty Singh to turn the ball back inside. I think a lot of the Newcastle players were probably a little bit surprised more than anything, Ross.
Well, the right-hand side defence for Newcastle changed a little bit. Tamana Tahu was playing inside in the centres, and Gidley was playing on the wing, and it was Tahu who came in and made that big hit. Gidley didn't read the play when he came back inside, when Bradford came back inside, and just had a clear run to the line. A misunderstanding in the defensive line by the Newcastle Knights presented them with their first points, and they'll be delighted to get some just before half-time. It won't make the roast for Murray Hurst all that tough to take at half-time.
Josh Hannay with the attempted conversion. Seemed to have a look of amazement on his face, Taron Bradford, when he got the ball and sort of stopped and thought, there's no one in front of me. What's gone wrong here? Josh Hannay's kick, plenty of height, the distance, no problem, and the direction is perfect. So 24-6, Newcastle lead North Queensland. Almost on half-time. In fact, the hooter will go before Andrew Johns is able to restart the game. And there goes the hooter. Referee Mark Oaten says that will do us. So the half-time score, Newcastle, all Newcastle, and that late try by North Queensland did get them on the board, but it was very much against the run of play. And Ben Kennedy didn't come into the game until the latter stages of the first half, but the moment he came in, he certainly had an impact. As the players leave for half-time, but it's all Newcastle. The Premiers lead North Queensland here by 24-6. Back shortly to EnergyAustralia Stadium in Newcastle.
Yeah, John, they've got to really reassess their game plan. I think the North Queensland Cowboys, they do have the win behind them. They've got to repair that game, but I also believe that their charges up the middle didn't show that they were all that successful. They've got to shift the ball out wide. They did that in the last couple of minutes in the first half and ended up with a 4-pointer.
North Queensland just on their own 20, starting the second half. Josh Hannay tackled. Given away by Bowen.
3, clear.
Sean Valentine to play it. Peter Jones runs in to be the dummy half. His pass goes on to Glenn Morrison.
4, hand off. Stand up, move.
Buttigieg. His second hit up in this initial set of 6 for the second half by John Buttigieg. Matt Bowen's kick. Again, trying to put it into open space. That's a better kick. In the first half, he was kicking all the time, pretty much straight to Robbie O'Davis. You have to make them make the receiver make ground so that your defending line can come up and put some pressure on. And that's what they didn't do in the first half. So perhaps that's a sign of better things to come for the opening stanza of the second half.
Well, at least we know one of the things Murray Hurst said to his boys in the halftime dressing room, obviously, was about the kicks, and instantly we've seen Bowen carry out his instructions.
Now Matt Parsons, good hard run. He came from deep, Parsons, with a full head of speed. Ball played quickly. Clinton O'Brien had support on the outside in rudder. Couldn't get his pass away though. Badiris gives it back to Johns on the last. Johns, again, a lovely little kick into open spaces, sends Matt Bowen back forward into the in goal. He'll be trapped there. Good chase led by Anthony Quinn. What a lovely kick though by Andrew Johns. As I said earlier, Wally, I suppose yourself and Russell both fall into this category as players. Good players just have that much more time to do things.
They do, but I've got to say that North Queensland aren't helping their own situation there. They had the winger on that occasion. Ken McGuinness was actually about 25 metres infield, nowhere near it. Johnsy spotted where he was, thought, well, here's a chance, I can put it down that side. No one's back there to cover it. All of a sudden, we're on the attack. That's a wonderful drop kick, 58 metres, something that they certainly need.
Clinton O'Brien runs it back, so tackle number 1 is 35 metres out from the North Queensland line, and Danny Badiris gets another 8 metres out of dummy half on the second tackle, so they're getting a roll on again. Now, once more to Matt Parsons. He gets up to the 20, unloads his pass. It goes to Badiris and then on to Clint Newton.
3 clear!
They're inside the 20 on the third. Another great attacking position. Johns wants it. Quickly sends it back to the blind side. Gidley unloads his pass to Newton.
4 tackles.
12 metres out. 2 tackles remaining in this set. Johns, Rudder. Kennedy loses it. Picked up by North Queensland. Hannay has the ball and the 0 tackle as Kennedy makes it on Josh Hannay.
0 tackle.
Peterson got away from Johns. Can't get away from Badiris as he went across field. Matthew Peterson. Matt Singh. Scamper out of dummy half.
Stand up, hands off.
So they haven't done all that effectively today. George Gatiss, their regular hooker, is normally good at that, but didn't seem to be able to do it much when he was on the field, and he's on the reserves bench for the start of the second half, Gatiss.
Oh. Danny, double step. Come on, Danny.
Now the kick, being put down by Nathan Feen. This one taken by Robbie O'Davis, right on his fingertips. Terrific anticipation by Robbie O'Davis. Just summed up very quickly where that kick from Nathan Feen was going to, and positioned himself perfectly to take it on the full. Up a short blind side, they come again. Newcastle. Played back by Hughes. Badiris once more on the blind. Kennedy tries to take on Sean Valentine. Clint O'Brien. Now back to Rudder. Last tackle for the Knights. Johns has it. Johns puts up the kick. Chasing is Tamana Tahu. Knocked down by North Queensland. Dived on by Newcastle. Knock on. Knock on by North Queensland. So a terrific attacking opportunity now for Newcastle. Andrew Johns to work a scrum just 10 metres out.
Well, geez, he did all the hard work. He got in front of the ball, the chaser, and put himself in a position to catch the football. Just couldn't take it. Simple catch, that was all that was required.
First receiver, Rudder. Second receiver, Robbie O'Davis, who steps on the accelerator, almost got over the line. Pulled to ground by Peterson and made to lose the ball.
Oh, we made to lose the ball, but I think Robbie had a little bit of a peep out the corner of his eye, saw the white stripe way out in front and thought, I'm half a chance, I'm still rolling. I'll plaster my hand out there and see whether I can reach. It was a pretty good tackle in the end. You can just see him thinking, well, there's that line.
Outside foot up, Matt.
Good tackle by his opposite number, Peterson.
Ken McGuinness coming in to be first receiver from this scrum win for the Cowboys. But they're back on their own 10-metre mark. No change since half-time, 24-6 in favour of Newcastle.
Dominant 2. I'll get you, mate. I'll get you.
Valentine. Back into the ruck goes Sean Valentine. Buttigieg runs it straight at Badiris.
No, Danny, you're not square. Get square first.
As George Gatiss comes back onto the sideline, he'll be back into the fray very shortly. This kick down to Robbie O'Davis. O'Davis tries to straighten up, got away from 1 and 2, and then is unceremoniously put to ground in the tackle of Peter Jones.
2 players, stand with
Tahu
us.
plays it on his own 30.
Play on.
Bit of sloppy play, the ball by Tamana Tahu. Sean Rudder. Down the blind side is where Badiris dictated the attack.
4.
Parsons. Right on the advantage line, Matt Parsons takes it.
5. Clear!
Here comes the final tackle for Newcastle. 25 metres out. Johns, again with plenty of time, puts up the high, spiralling bomb out towards Matt Bowen. The ball's loose on the ground. Bowen's able to scramble back into the in goal and dive on it first. Pretty torrid day for the little fellas like Matt Bowen, but didn't take it cleanly.
He's not going to excel in the height department on too many occasions, is he, when the balls came down? But Johnson's kick was in a very good position, and it was complemented by a very good chasing team. 3 or 4 guys coming through, waiting to clean up the scraps with another 4-pointer.
Geez, I don't know if Bowen actually knocked that on. I'm sure the Newcastle Knights knocked it on. It should have been a 10-metre scrum with the Cowboys' feet. There's no 2 ways about that. And now they've given ball back to the Knights.
Clinton O'Brien runs it back on the kick return, and he's 32 metres out. That's where he'll play the ball. Played to Badiris, now it goes to Billy Peden.
2. Michael. Come on out!
Badiris has a quick
Don't
look to
hold
see
him,
where the
John.
defensive line is, and he elects to have a run himself. Saw a short gap, which he
Clear,
thought he'd be
Sean,
able to
clear.
put Matt Parsons into. Badiris on the short side to Johns, fires the pass wide, and brilliantly read by Josh Hannay, who came up and collected Robbie O'Davis in a bell ringer. Here's O'Brien. He's 5 metres out.
Stand up with it, Clinton.
They're on the last tackle now. In the hands of Johns it goes. Holds the pass up for Hughes coming from behind him. The North Queensland defence holds, and it's a changeover.
Yeah, very good tackle on that occasion from Josh Hannay. Of course, a week ago he made a tackle like that against the Broncos and just about rearranged every rib in the cage. Took some time off, around about 10 minutes or so, to get himself back in working order.
Yes, he rearranged Darren Lockyer's rib cage and his own.
3, get off, get off!
Taron Bradford making a half break. He's almost up to halfway. Now away to Nathan Feen, looking to go through the middle of the ruck, the little fellow.
Wait here, Bill.
Bowen. Peter Jones coming from the inside, but almost at a standstill is where the pass came back to Lee McWilliams, who's just into the play from the reserves bench. Jones, the kick by Peter Jones. Well, it's not only gone out on the full, it's missed the line by probably 4 or 5 metres. So the turnover. Newcastle through Clinton O'Brien are back over halfway.
Hands off, come on.
Parsons, tallest man in the NRL, Matt Parsons. A giant of a man and very, very tough to pull to ground. Bill Peden, quickly given away by Johns. Lovely pass, just spiralling that pass out wide for Hughes, coming back in at the angle.
Hand off the ball, Sean.
Now given away to Johns. Johns' pass picked up by Hughes, then slipped away beautifully to Quinn. Quinn going for the line, he turns in the tackle of Matthew Peterson, and Anthony Quinn gets in to score. First try of the second half makes it 28 points to 6.
Wasn't quite successful. I think Matty Peterson would be a little bit disappointed because he's come up with a couple of better efforts throughout the course of the first half. Had him in perfect position. Unfortunately, a little bit of weight going the way of Anthony Quinn.
So the first try, well done, Anthony Quinn. The first try of his career in first grade. It's always a... In fact, no, he did get one last. He got one last week, I'm pretty sure, against the Northern Eagles. He did his second try of his career. Yeah. Anthony to Andrew Johns from near touch. And only the one miss so far today, Andrew Johns. This one he struck well, it's swinging back in, it just falls short.
A little bit tired.
A little bit. No goal, 28 points to 6 it remains.
Bit of fatigue in Johns' legs there, perfect. Sitting right behind that kick, John, wasn't it? Everything about the kick itself, the style, the follow-through, everything. It was wonderfully explained. Couldn't tell young footballers who wanted to learn how to kick how to do it any better.
Glenn Morrison restarts for North Queensland and knocked on by Robbie O'Davis. So a mistake by the fullback gives North Queensland an attacking scrum just 10 metres out from the Newcastle line.
He won't drop another one like this all year. Simple one-on-one, he just misread it. I think he was a little bit too far in front of the football and just a little bit off centre of it.
Hannay doing a wraparound with Bowen and then Peterson coming into the line from fullback.
Hands off, come on.
Tackle 12 metres out on the first, Peterson. Bowen for Morrison. Up the middle comes Lee McWilliams, but loses the ball. So it comes to naught. Ball turned over by Lee McWilliams. In fact, no knock on, and the referee says play on. That'll be an interesting one to have a look at. Away from Bowen, then it goes to Jones.
2 hands off.
He'll play the ball back to Hannay. Now it goes to Bowen, then it on to Buttigieg. Out to Bowen. Bowen trying to just work his way through the middle of the ruck. It's Johns who shuts him down. Feen in behind Morrison. On it goes to Matt Singh. Singh, lovely pass on to Peterson. Oh, great work by Matt Singh. Beautiful pass by Singh on to Peterson, who scores. Will be interesting though to just have a look at that one of Lee McWilliams where the ball seemed to be lost, but the referee was right on the spot to say no knock on, play on. And Matt Peterson comes up with the try for North Queensland to make it 28-10.
Yeah, of course, the initial knock on presented an opportunity. It seemed to be knocked back.
Yeah, no, it came
really
to
well by
he went to pass at Lee McWilliams and in fact was knocked down by Billy Peden. So the referee right there saw it.
And they've done pretty well. They know that there's not much chance of being able to split Newcastle's defence up the middle. Shifting the ball wide has become successful for them, Russell, on a number of occasions now.
You're dead right, and what I liked about Matt Peterson then was he didn't run your regular channel there. He ran a nice tight pass pattern alongside Matt Singh. Singh couldn't have slipped any other ball to him, but a little short one off his hip, and that's just what he did. Marvellous try by the fullback. He will be after looking at him today, he will be a good replacement for Timmy Brasher.
Josh Hannay with the attempted conversion of the Peterson try. And converted by Josh Hannay, so 28 points to 12 it is. And originally Matt Peterson from Perth in WA, so one of the few sand gropers to have made it to the NRL ranks. But that was a good tackle that he made just a few moments ago.
In a funny sort of a way, John, I think Coach Michael Hagan will find this really interesting for the Knights. While no coach exactly enjoys seeing tries scored against his team, he knows that his team have virtually got this game in the bag now, but he'll just want to see what sort of attitude that they've got when they're in a winning position. He's going to want them to really get their killer instincts working here to make sure that they go on with it.
So what can North Queensland do? Tackled is Lee McWilliams. In fact, is back in familiar territory today. Lee McWilliams. He comes from Singleton in the Hunter Valley. In fact, represented the Australian schoolboys from Singleton High School, and then played for the Hunter Mariners. Now with North Queensland. Good kick by the Cowboys. Easy way to make some territory. Finds touch about 12 metres out from the Newcastle line.
Gee, and hasn't that improved in the second half as well, their kicking game?
And it's a 40, is a 40-20? In fact,
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, yes, he's just inside the 40. So, yeah, referee Mark Oaten now signalling that it is a 40-20, so a very good kick.
I'm not sure whether he actually knew himself after he kicked it. Kind of looked around to his mate saying, you know, where was I? how close.
Outside,
This gives
put
them
up.
another opportunity. They've got a little bit of confidence on board at the moment.
Fien, long pass away to Bowen. Coming straight is Josh Hannay. Scrambles to 8 metres from the line, Hannay. Bowen sends it away to Nathan Fien. Tries to sneak through the tackle of Johns and almost did so. Bowen. Buttigieg running straight at passes. On the third tackle. Still 8 metres from the line. John Buttigieg plays the ball. Gatiss runs himself from dummy half. Fien trying to work his way through once more. The defence shuts him down on number 4. Bowen. Wide pass to the try scorer. Peterson did well to get it around the corner to Glenn Morrison. He couldn't hold on to it though. And Newcastle with possession right on their own line through Robbie O'Davis.
Well, try them would have made it interesting, that's for sure. And they certainly looked on course. They had the numbers. They'd outnumbered the Newcastle Knights. Just a solid tackle on impact as he caught the ball. Glenn Morrison, that's what upset the rhythm.
Well, I suppose, Russell, what they have done in the second half, they've just produced a few more options rather than the pretty stereotyped one-out stuff in the first half, which made it very easy for the defence to pick them off.
Well, I think Wally mentioned it, that they've gone wide and they're having success with it. And again, they could have scored then.
Play it, stand.
Ball played back by Newcastle on the last. Johns kicks. Dropping back forward is Matt Bowen. Long pass in field goes to Peterson. Peterson has to straighten up the attack and is tackled 25 from his own line. Thompson.
2. Don't flop in again, John. You did it down there. Don't do it again.
Morrison.
3.
Almost up to halfway, Glenn Morrison on the third. Fien.
Inside.
Early in the tackle count. Kicks this time straight to Robbie O'Davis. Wasn't going to get caught again. O'Davis on his own 30 is where the tackle is made on him. Quinn. Anthony Quinn. Danny Badiris. One of those typical runs of Badiris. Every time he elects to run, he almost picks up at least 10 metres.
Hand off, hand off. Come on.
And a penalty.
Get up.
David Thompson.
In his face for a start. You got your hand in his face. Take it up. Josh.
David Thompson complaining there was a punch thrown in there, which was the reason that he stayed down a little longer than referee Mark Oaten wanted. However, it is a penalty, and running it straight through, Steve Simpson just makes it look so easy. The referee wants to look at it.
Just see if there was an obstruction back down here, just about the 20-metre line.
No, once again, I think, Russell, you'd have to say that it was Glenn Morrison. That's twice now he's angled from outside in, and it's trapped him. A clever second man pass behind has offered an opportunity.
You've been deceived again, Glenn Morrison, and Simpson just, well, quick as a centre when he gets a bit of room to move, and certainly much bigger. Here it is again. In he comes. No interference there. The pass generally goes behind the man, not so much the player, as Simpson again gets into space. They hit the 30 mark.
Yeah, pretty easy try scored by Steve Simpson, and I don't think that'll give much heartache to Ian Parnaby, which it doesn't. Try is signified. North Queensland defence just making the mistake, just picking off the wrong man, and Steve Simpson, the try scorer, 32 points to 12. With still 20 minutes remaining here in Newcastle.
Johns now with a chance to practice his kicking wide out.
On its way from Andrew Johns and waved away. 32 to 12 it remains. The premiers, the Newcastle Knights, lead the North Queensland Cowboys here in Newcastle. (32 to 12) in favour of the Knights as they run it from their own line through Peden.
There's one.
Slung to ground in the tackle of Lee McWilliams. Simpson, the try scorer, onto Johns into a half break. Now to O'Davis. O'Davis was almost into the clear. John Morris.
3, clear, Dave, clear.
Morris tackled by Jones on halfway. Badiris again from dummy half and again picks up his 10 metres.
4.
Johns. Wide pass to O'Davis. Tried to hit the runner coming straight. Couldn't do so. He just overrun a Daniel Abram. Ball goes to ground.
I'm going to say,
George, send it up there.
Robbie on that occasion, even if he was a bit late to make the pass, as the runner coming back and inside had already passed him, but he had numbers on the outside as well then.
Head'll stay in, Bill.
Yeah, I was going to say that the big problem for
No, don't
the
strike
Cowboys
at
at the moment seems to be their mathematics.
See?
Hopelessly outnumbered out wide. But luckily, a bad decision from Newcastle didn't cost them.
Don't strike at it.
Matt Peterson plays it on the first. 15 from halfway. Here's Jones.
It's 2. Clear.
Glenn Morrison. That is the halfway mark that he's reached and plays it on the third. Gatiss for Jones onto the short side.
4.
Bowen. Fiend. Singh loses his footing, Matt Singh. Quickly picked up by the Knights. So 10 inside their own half. Newcastle in possession.
Wait.
As they drive it over halfway.
2.
Laid back by Steve Simpson. Perry.
3, let him up.
And Danny Badiris. Rare mistake out of dummy half. He'd taken off and started to run before he had the ball in his hand, Danny.
Yeah, you're right, John. He'd spotted the gap, hadn't he? He knew exactly where he was heading. He thought, here's an opening. I'm charging for it. The support play will come with me. One of the best dummy half runners in the game too. I'm sure the Cowboys will be breathing a little bit easier that he didn't cart the ball.
He made his 10 yards before he had the football in his hand that time. He'd already gone the 10.
He had.
Stay in, Bill. Yep.
Picked up by Glenn Morrison at the base of the scrum and on to Matt Singh. I think probably got in front of that ball anyway, Matt Singh. So an awful mistake on the first tackle. I guess they were trying something though. Give them some credit. But, execution at -5 out of 10.
Put up, feet on the ground, ball will go in.
So the scrum
Head in, Glenn.
back not far away from
Hey!
the one just a few seconds ago. The only difference this time it's a Newcastle feed.
One tackle, up, John. Come on, Glenn, get up.
Billy Peden.
2.
Badiris makes sure of it this time from dummy half. Josh Perry almost lost it. This time it is lost, so Morris couldn't take it. Couldn't blame John Morris for putting that ball to ground. So the things getting rather scrappy.
I wonder if he was tackled without having the ball at that particular stage. It looked like there was some hands certainly all over him. Here we go again. We'll get another look this time. Gee. I think there was a hand in front of him.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of assistance from Ken McGuinness on that occasion. Wasn't spotted by the referee. Happened to be on the other side of it, so perhaps a little bit of fortune smiling with the Cowboys.
Become a scrumathon in the last few minutes. This one goes North Queensland's way, and this time they do hold on to it on the first as Matt Bowen plays it. Thompson, former Canterbury player, having his first season with the Cowboys. Fiend, Jamie McDonald. Little flick pass back in for George Gatiss. Bowen, Hannay. Trying to get past Mark Hughes. Good defence though by Hughes on Hannay. Plays it on halfway. Bowen. Oh.
Well, that won't make the plays of the week, I can assure you of that.
It might for all the wrong reasons, Russell.
1.
Make the goof reel. Ben Kennedy to play it.
Wait.
Very slowly to his feet, Ben Kennedy. Here's Steve Simpson. Just up onto his haunches now, Kennedy.
Take him down.
Keep a watch on him, given that he's had problems with shoulder reconstruction during the off-season as Andrew Johns kicks into the end goal and it just goes too deep, goes touch in goal. Back out to the 20 for the restart.
He's always thinking John's defensive line up flat at that particular stage. There was no way he could get a pass in, so he thought he'd just dribble it behind him. Fractionally too long.
Restart by the Cowboys. McDonald tackled. Jones. On his own 30, Peter Jones. McWilliams. On the third tackle, Lee McWilliams.
3, clear!
Well, there's the Bowen who threw that try. He's already been hauled off the field.
The hook, Matthew Bowen. Glenn Morrison.
4.
John Doyle.
5.
Doyle again. This kick. Hoisting it high. Taken by Tamana Tahu.
1. Get off, Sean. Come on, move it.
Tahu plays the ball 25 out from his own line. Gidley does well to just push a pass to Robbie O'Davis.
2. Clear now, clear.
Billy Peeble stands and loads his pass. Given by Gidley. Away to Johns. John starts to get into the clear. Looking for support and floats a wide pass out to Anthony Quinn. McGuinness comes at Quinn. He uses a kick back on the inside. Hughes goes forward. Takes it. What a take. What a take by Mark Hughes.
Now that one will make the highlights reel.
Oh, will it ever? And the Sydney Swans will be looking to see when his contract is up here with the Knights, Mark Hughes. What a great take. But give some credit to Anthony Quinn. That was a superb piece of work by the young winger.
It was. A lot of other wingers too, John, would probably have been a little bit more comfortable just to go to the ground. Think, well, maybe we'll score off the next play. Jersey grabbing offered an opportunity to Johns as well. But here's the kick off the left foot back inside. He was right on the line too, I think, Russell, fractionally behind.
Well, we haven't seen Johns do much all game individually. That's his first major run. He finds Quinn out wide. This one off the left foot, and I'm not even sure if Quinn's a left footer. But Hughes just ready to treat.
He is now.
Yeah, he certainly is. He gets up for the ball, crashes over. Gee, they'll be celebrating that one. And Mark Hughes can tell a story. I want to hear about that one later on tonight.
Shades of a very famous grand final try, the Steve Gearon try for Canterbury, and similar type circumstances.
Greg Brentnell put the ball in the air. Steve Gearon took it out of Marty Gurr's grasp, and that was the ball game.
Here's the kick by Johns. He set the try up originally and completes it with the conversion. Excellent rugby league try by the Newcastle Knights. 38 points to 12 it is. Interesting statistic that last week when Newcastle beat the Northern Eagles, they scored 6 tries and there were 6 different try scorers. That was the 7th try today. 7 different try scorers. Says something about their attacking ability, doesn't it?
Or no hogs in the team.
That's right.
That was just a beautiful try to watch. 38 to 12.
Tackle 1.
With 10 minutes remaining here in Newcastle as the floodlights start to take effect at EnergyAustralia Stadium.
2.
Steve Simpson
3.
has been one of the try scorers today. And here's Badiris, again from dummy half, and once more to Johns. Now they quickly open up play. Morris into open spaces goes John Morris, looking for support, back on the inside. Lovely pass away to Gidley. Morrison dives at him, can't get him. Another superb try to Newcastle. Now they are starting to turn on some champagne football. Matthew Gidley scores the try that gets them into the 40s.
Simply just a grab at thin air. It missed, and there's plenty of support coming from the Knights.
And that's their 8th different try scorer of the 8 tries today. Gee, look, I have to say though, Wally and Russell, that I know Danny Badiris is one of the best hooker forwards in the world today. There is absolutely no question, as Johns converts the try to make it 44-12. But you know that when Danny Badiris runs from dummy half, he does make ground. You have to watch him like a hawk. Your markers have to watch him. Can't take your eyes off him. That time, he was just allowed to amble out of dummy half. No one near him.
By 2 markers that basically had the opportunity to get to him.
Badiris came the short side. Johns went back the open side, some good angles. The defence on the open side didn't read it, and that's when Tamana Tahu just went straight up the middle.
44 points to 12. Newcastle lead North Queensland.
That ball's not on the line, I'm sure.
Glenn Morrison restarts. Robbie O'Davis takes it and sends Clinton O'Brien running it back towards his own 20. Simpson.
2.
Billy Peden
3. Clear him.
looking for support back on the inside. He had Daniel Abram yelling for that ball and couldn't get it to him.
Final interchange for Newcastle, number 10,
Danny Badiris
4.
just running at will at the moment, the Newcastle Knights. Peden. Johns just stabs his kick ahead. Chasing it is Mark Hughes. Can't get it. Almost got a double. Just couldn't get his hand to it. Referee wants to have a look at it though.
See if we
And I
got a
think the
grounding there.
Probably wants to know who made last contact with it, John. Both teams are pretty clear to put their hands up saying that it was no try. Terrific charge from Hughes to be able to get to the football, but also let's give him a rap. Matthew Pearson, he made a valiant effort to get across and what looked like save a try. They both did very well. Oh, toss a coin on that one. Do your best to decide who made last contact with that football.
Maybe Peterson.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you'd be doing very well if you could pick it. He probably has made last contact with.
Then again,
you can say that Hughes
knocked it
actually
on.
made first contact and propelled the ball forward.
That's right. I think that's what happened. I think Mark Hughes has probably touched it first and knocked it forward, and then Peterson had the last touch before it went over the touch line. It'll come back out to the 20, I think.
20.
Yeah, out to the 20, says the referee. So that's what it'll be. 20-metre restart by North Queensland.
And isn't it great to see the desperation still shown by players like Mark Hughes when there's only a few minutes to go in the game, 7 minutes to go or so. It'll be very easy for him to just sit back, think we're well in front, I'll take it easy.
So as was the case last week against the Brisbane Broncos,
2, lead the lead.
for the last few minutes of the game, North Queensland are just playing for pride.
Dominant 3.
They don't want to throw the towel in. 42 points, 44 points to 12. Very easy to do so, but Murray Hurst will be wanting a lot more from them. This bloke's had a pretty fair game for the limited opportunities he's had in first grade. Matt Peterson, the fullback. It's the captain for today, Peter Jones. Jamie McDonald.
5.
Last coming up now for the Cowboys.
Inside.
Gatiss. Hoping for a 40-20, not successful, went straight again to Robbie O'Davis.
1.
10 inside his own half is where the Knights fullback plays it. Quinn.
2.
Clinton O'Brien.
3.
Parsons back into the fray. A pass which has gone behind Johns. Picked up out there by Abraham, who gives it away to Peden. Peden does well. A pass away to Gidley, then onto the flying Tamata Tahu, and he's cut down in a good tackle. Knocked to ground by Taron Bradford. Still attacking though, Newcastle.
5, get off.
Played only 5 metres from the line, and on the last to Ben Kennedy. Kennedy in to score. Try to Ben Kennedy, the 9th try, and now 9 separate try scorers. Kennedy gets them to 48, and Andrew Johns will have the chance to bring up the half century.
Some very clever ball work on the far side of the field. Terrific work. Got to pay credit to the likes of Gidley and Tahu, but mathematics once again provided the opportunity. 6 players to 2, and one of those players from North Queensland was Peterson, the fullback, who was actually standing behind the line.
Tonight's Cowboys, sponsored by your station.
The biggest win Newcastle have ever posted against North Queensland was 44-14 here at this ground back in 1995. It's now 48 points to 12. Make that 50. The half century is up. No trouble for Andrew Johns. The Knights lead by 50 points to 12 with 4 minutes remaining. North Queensland fairly slow, walking it back towards halfway for the restart. Fine effort though by Newcastle. Just showing what a wonderful side they are. To think that last week, as we said, kicked ahead by Ben Kennedy. Jamie McDonald will come up with it.
I don't think he's feeling too good either. Copped a bit in the back.
Ben Kennedy landed right on top of him. Here's Matt Singh. Hammered to ground in a tough tackle by Daniel Abraham on the second. McDonald is still down in back play. Gatiss running it, showing it. No one running straight, so he has to take the tackle himself. Doyle. Wide pass goes on to Josh Hannay, who loses it. It went backwards. No knock on. It's the fourth tackle. Doyle. Bounced away from the first attempted tackle. And a penalty.
Too late in there.
Just flopping into the tackle, says the referee. So the penalty goes to North Queensland, and here's Nathan Feen. Morrison, it's gone loose on the ground, kicked ahead by Newcastle. Newcastle play a tackle without the ball, and this will be a penalty. Tamana Tahu knocked over without the ball by Sean Valentine. Newcastle penalty. Johns finding touch.
Come on, Glenn.
5 from halfway. And immediately going wide, the Newcastle Knights.
1.
Parsons. Arms free from Parsons. Back to O'Davis, just trailing him through like a drover's dog. Johns. Given by Billy Peden. Away it goes to Hughes and on to Badiris.
What's he doing out there? Running in the back line like a centre. The game he's playing, I suppose he can go anywhere he likes.
4.
Andrew Johns. Johns just stabs it over the top of the line. Peterson runs back for it. He trapped in goal. Robbie O'Davis led the chase. It was finished by Clint Newton, goal line dropper.
The one-stop shop for John Deere mowing, climbing and golf and turf equipment. Shouts track to centre. Nothing runs like a deer.
Which they'll take their time about with a minute and a half remaining until full time.
They won't be rushing. Another very well-placed kick. Again, good desperation shown by the Newcastle teammates to race through and put pressure on the ball whilst it was in goal. This will be the last set of 6 for Newcastle in the match.
Anthony Quinn brings it back on number 1. And knocked on in the tackle by Quinn, just as he went to play the ball.
Cross ball.
Cowboy scrum feed. 15 inside their own half.
Yeah, nice and tight, fellas. Outside foot up there. That's it. Outside foot up and on the ground. Don't strike at it. Play.
Inside the last minute of the game, as John Doyle gets the ball in hand, and it'll be Doyle
Tackle
who's
one,
put the
clear.
ground on the first. Michael Luck.
2.
Valentine.
Tackle 3, clear it. Get up, Matt.
Right on halfway is where Sean Valentine plays it. Doyle. McDonald. Dropped backwards by Peterson, picked up by Morrison, then to Luck. Morrison from dummy half. Pass which goes loose. Out it goes to Taron Bradford. Bradford stepping back inside. He finished the first half with a try, but this time he'll send it on to Matt Singh, and Singh goes in to score. Absolutely out of nowhere. Taron Bradford, who scored that try against the run of play to start the first half, looked as though he was going to end the game in the same fashion, and then unselfishly sends it into Matt Singh to score.
Just picked up a sloppy pass, but hasn't he got some speed off the mark? Just took off. Clint Newton in pursuit to be able to try and stop the last try in the closing seconds of the game. I don't think that's going to upset the fans nor the Newcastle team too much.
I guess what it does do is put some respectability on the scoreboard for North Queensland, even though Newcastle have run up 50. As Josh Hannay converts. And so that is full time here at Newcastle, the full-time score. The Newcastle Knights have defeated North Queensland by 50 points to 18. Newcastle 50, North Queensland 18. As the players just file past each other and shake hands. Say thanks for coming. There's the two skippers tonight, Andrew Johns and Peter Jones. So that is full-time. Newcastle 50, North Queensland 18. Back shortly to EnergyAustralia Stadium in Newcastle. The Newcastle Knights defeating the Cowboys by 50 points to 18. A big win for the defending premiers here at EnergyAustralia Stadium this evening. 50 points to 18. They are a terrific attacking unit, Newcastle. There is no doubt about that. And down on the sideline, Russell Fairfax. Before we go to Russell, let's have a look at just the breakdown of the summary. And the interesting thing about this, Wally, is that for all of the tries by Newcastle, no doubles included, all individual try scorers.
Yes, it certainly makes it a little bit difficult, doesn't it, for all the journos that are covering it, getting ready to type it. O'Davis, Badiris, Peden, Abraham, Quinn, Simpson, Hughes, Gidley and Kennedy. They're almost going to have to make all the guys that didn't score tries tonight. It's their shout.
Yeah, 9 tries to 9 individual scorers. Let's take your sideline. Here's Russell Fairfax.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny McCoy. With me, Ben Kennedy. Ben, firstly, how'd the shoulder come up?
Yeah, not too bad. It was just a matter of getting out there and getting a bit of confidence on it, and I've done that, so I got through the game all right.
How'd you feel about your particular game?
Oh, I was pretty slow. I didn't do too much. Just, as I said, mate, getting out there, getting a bit of fitness under my belt and getting confidence in the shoulder for hopefully play a bit of football next week.
You had to wait a while, but can you run us through your try?
It wasn't too much, mate. I wasn't too hard. Joey just put it on my chest and put it down. It was one of those things.
I guess the other thing is, even though you won by 50 points to 18, it probably wasn't the finish you were looking for.
Oh, no. Yeah, we got a tendency to let sides score tries against us, so that's one thing we're really going to work on this year, and that's one thing we were working on, and obviously we've got a bit more work to do.
And before I let you go, how tough is it to keep up after being the premiers last year and coming up against a couple of sides have been fairly easy pickings?
Oh no, I think we've done the job fairly well. We've put both teams away, and that's forgotten last year. It's a new year, and we got to get on with it.
Thank you, Ben. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation for the National Rugby League Partnership.